Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Friday morning, September 20th. My apologies for not recording a CarCast last night as I promised. Pet issues. I have a pet dog named Zoe, which some of you have met from my Periscope days. She's not feeling well. She's a bit under the weather. She's not a young dog. She's at least about 12 years old. We're not sure because she's a rescue, but she just started sneezing. And I won't go into too much detail. Not that it's nothing much more than that. But we ended up at the vet emergency room last night, and they gave her a semi-clean bill of health, and yet she's not doing well again today. So we're doing another vet visit at some point today, probably. Anyways, that prevented me from doing a CarCast podcast last night. Actually, it prevented me from watching the show live. I listened and watched it on my phone while I was driving home from the vet. And so that's why it was kind of radio silence for me most of the afternoon. So let's go along, and I'll let you know the story of the dog as that progresses. But I'm hopeful that she's going to be okay. But as far as the show goes, we saw Tikor get evicted. I was, again, watching it. We kind of thought that's where things were leaning yesterday morning, but not quite sure. But it kind of solidified during the day. It seemed like it was more solid, and that's what I would have reported. I would have said it really sounds like Tikor is going home, or Tikor. See that? Someone commented on that, my pronunciation of Tikor's name. The T apostrophe K-O-R often means pronounce the T as like a T sound, not a T. And so that's why you get me getting that T sound. But it is Tikor, at least that's how everybody else says it. So Tikor, it seemed like it had solidified that she was the one that was going to go yesterday during the day, and that's what I would have said last night if I'd had a chance to talk. She was voted out 4-1, right? I think it was five. It was five. It was 5 to evict. It was three to evict, and it was 4-1. Chemo being the only person who voted out, who voted for Rabina to get evicted over Tikor. And remember, Chemo and Tikor were locked at the hip for the first good portion of the season, so that doesn't surprise me. All right, so. The feeds went down. They started a competition. They lied to us, as far as I'm concerned. Someone else said, no, they said they'd start the HoH. Yes, but they implied Julie even said it, the first live head of household competition on the feeds. Now, it was the start of, and you can argue semantics and say, that's what she said, but whatever. You and I both know that they talked about the head of household being live on the show. It would make the people think that, we're going to get to see it. And when it came back and it was this stacking puzzle where they had 50 little puzzle pieces, not a puzzle, but 50 pieces of pretend candy that they were to stack, and the largest number stacked within an hour was the winner, if that makes sense. So they're basically, I don't know if they were foam or wood or plastic, but they were cut out pieces in different shapes of candy, and the house guests had to stack them on their narrow side, and the highest stack, or not the highest, I'm sorry, the most number in a stack within an hour is the one that won. And they could take up to an hour, or if they got to a point where they said that's as many as I'm going to get, I'm buzzing out, they could do that as well. And so, from what it sounds like, I knew that when the feeds came back, because they didn't come back until late, so we knew that it was over, and we still didn't see anything. And of course, what they ended up doing, it sounds like, is they had the house guests either go in the living room and announce the winner, or maybe they went in the backyard and announced the top three. That's one of the things they like to do now, is announce the top three, not announce the last place people. You don't know who was last. All you know is the top three. But they talk about it in this case. But when they do other competitions like the POV comps, they only announce 3. Like it's, rather than, it's partly maybe for time purposes, but other reasons it's because they don't want to show how terrible some of the people did. But the top three were Rubina, Angela, and Mackenzie. And when the feeds had cut away, we had seen that Angela, I counted them, she had 26 pieces stacked. And so it's like, wow, she's tearing it up. Now, she could have buzzed in right then and been done at 26. As a matter of fact, the winning number, it sounds like, and I haven't heard it any different yet, but I did hear the person that won it say, and I'm kind of holding off for a half a second here to keep the suspense going, but the person that won apparently had 30. So 26, Angela almost had 30 when the feeds went away. It also sounds like Angela did buzz in with whatever her final number was. And I don't know her final number because Angela didn't win. As a matter of fact, Angela apparently took third overall. But they said Angela buzzed in. So it's possible that once she hit that 26, she buzzed in. Or maybe 27 or 28, whatever it was. Because again, we heard the winning number was 30. And it was I think the winning number was 30. If it was a tie, it was the first person to buzz in. So if Angela had gotten to 30 and buzzed in, she would have won. And we know, based on the retells, that the person that won finished with like less than a minute to go, because they said they were at the 30-minute mark. Their pile completely fell down. They also said with 10 minutes to go, they started over. So not only the 30-minute, but the 50-minute mark, they had to start over. So they started from scratch with 10 minutes to go, and they said I could hear the announcer saying you have 1 minute as they were finishing off, or maybe they just kept going until the time ran out and they had whatever they had left. But again, the number apparently was 30. And the winner was Mackenzie. She beat out Rubina. We don't know what Rubina's number was, but less than 30, or less than whatever Mackenzie had. Again, I'm going with that 30. I heard Mackenzie say 30, and I thought that's how many she had. She may have had more. There was a total of 50 pieces, at least if you go by the pictures that they showed last night on the show. I freeze-framed one of them. Matter of fact, it was Mackenzie pieces, because they were the red pieces. And I counted, and it took me a couple times, because I'm not very good at counting. Because at first I said, oh, there's 42. No, there's 44. No, there's 46. No, there's... Anyways, the number was 30, it looked like. So 30 pieces that they could stack. So she didn't get them all, it doesn't sound like, but she did get more than half. All right, so Mackenzie being the head of household, we knew that because the feeds came back to her and Leah celebrating in the upstairs little cubby hole where the bumper pool is and stuff. That's where they were celebrating. Just the two of them. They were mocking, making faces into the camera. But again, it was easily 2 or 3 hours after the show ended, and but they had to redo furniture and stuff. Big Brother had to put the furniture back in because they cleared out some of the furniture for these competitions that they did, because they did them in various rooms. They were not all together. They were actually all in different places in the house, so that they were isolated from each other. They couldn't see what the other person was doing. They couldn't see what number what number they stacked, what they tapped out on if they tapped out. It was good to keep them separate. But they had to clear out furniture to do that, and they had to put it back in when the competition was over. So they got into the house. So we got the feeds back. Leah and Mackenzie are celebrating, and then they start talking, and Mackenzie is like, look, this is what I want to do. Everybody's expecting me to put up Angela. If I don't, it'll look weird. So I have to put up Angela, and I'm going to put up Chemo against her, and we should be able to get rid of Chemo. And now Leah pushed back a little bit about putting up Angela, because that's Leah's, at this point, kind of Leah's, Leah probably wouldn't say it to Mackenzie, but Angela may be Leah's, ride or die at this point. She doesn't have anyone as close to her as Angela probably is. So Leah kind of pushed back a little bit, but Angela's like, no, this is the way I got it on Angela. Mackenzie was like, this is what I got to do. This is what I got to do. And in the end, we're still at that point, the nominations aren't until today, so they've got time to rediscuss and everything. But they talked. I didn't listen to all of it. And in the end, that's where Mackenzie left it with Leah. I'm putting up Again, I'm putting up Angela and Chemo. Chemo is the target. Angela is a pawn. So then she goes and she talks to some other people, and the next person I think I see her talking to is Rubina. I think she was the next person she talked to, and she said to Rubina, hey, look, I just told Leah that I'm putting up Chemo and Angela, and that Angela is the pawn. But in reality, Angela is my target. I need Angela to go. And I would love it. I would be fine if it even ended up being a tie that I could break, which it can't be a tie, right? No, it can't be a tie because we were at, oh, can it be? Wait a minute. No, it can't be a tie. It could be a 2-2 tie. Yes, it could be a 2-2 tie. So we could have a 2-2 tie, and Angela said Mackenzie even said I'd be fine with a 2-2 tie. I'll break it and I'll vote out Angela, which I would think that she would be like, I'm finally getting my revenge for Matt. She might do that. I mean, that maybe that's what she has in mind, is that going that far back and saying, I have finally got my revenge. But she told Rubina, we cannot tell Angela she's the target. She's supposed to think, she and Leah are both supposed to think that Chemo is the target. So that is her plan. And she told this to multiple people. I don't know if she told it to everybody, but I know she told it to Rubina. I know she told it to Chemo, and I know she told it to Cam. Not sure if she told it to Chelsea or not, but she probably did. So, in theory, everybody in the house except for Leah and Angela are going to know that Chemo is who Mackenzie wants safe, and she wants to get Angela voted out. And Leah and Angela are going to think that Chemo is the target, which is, I'm really, again, I'm not rooting or pulling for anyone in particular. So this is a good blindside. This is a good unexpected move. People were initially going to be like, oh, Mackenzie's just going to take the easy way out, which some would say maybe she is. But going after Leah is not the easy way out. It will earn her an enemy. And as many other people have pointed out, putting Angela on the block will carry its own results, because Angela on the block gets messy. And so we're going to have to deal with messy, paranoid Angela, and especially if she stays on the block for the entire week and ends up on the block at the end. Now, what does this all mean as far as power of veto? Okay, so let's hang on. So we're going to get to nominations today. Also, Mackenzie was going to let Angela know they've been doing these mini one-on-ones at night before the day of nominations, and she didn't talk to Angela last night. They were going to initially, and then they didn't. So Angela was fine last night. I don't think Angela thinks she's going to get nominated, and Mackenzie's going to have to do this whole, you're a pawn, I'm setting you up as a pawn, and Angela's going to push back, of course, but she'll probably agree to it. Although she may say, why don't you put up Rubina as the pawn, or, don't, but she, obviously, I think Mackenzie will stick to her guns and will do this. So that will be the interesting conversation to happen today before nominations. Hopefully it's on the feeds and people can get to see it. See how Mackenzie navigates with Angela, letting her know that she's going to nominate her. So you'll have that happen. So nominations will happen. And then, as Julie revealed on last night's show, the Zingbot will make its appearance. Also of note, Ainsley, the AI thing, returned, and the house guest said something like she destroyed Janky, and that Ainsley was red now. Like, Ainsley is now red, and she was blue before. Like, Ainsley's the angry AI. I don't know for sure. It may be all a storyline to bring Zingbot into the house. Who knows? But Zingbot's going to show up tomorrow. Feeds will be down for a lot of the day then, because Zingbot comes in, does the insults, and walks around. And as Andy from Big Brother 15 has explained, the voice comes from the speakers. Zingbot isn't actually the one talking, and they have to go through and do stuff. So we'll talk more about that maybe tonight. or maybe tomorrow if I have a chance to log on and stuff. But so Zingbot on Saturday. They also announced a 90-minute episode on Wednesday, probably to just with filler and Zingbot. I mean, at this point, I'm guessing that CBS is going to like, yeah, look, you got 90 minutes you can throw together. We'll take it because, programming is hard to come by and you guys seem to get viewers. So sure, give us 90 minutes instead of an hour. So that'll happen. And then, that's Survivor. So Survivor, what's going on there? Survivor is now 90 minute. So it was a 2-hour premiere, I think. And now Survivor runs 90 minutes instead of an hour. So there'll be a 90-minute episode of Survivor, and they'll throw Big Brother on for 90 minutes. That's what's going to happen, and that's why it's showing at 9:30 on Wednesday. So a 90-minute episode of Big Brother next Wednesday, and then double eviction next Thursday. So we'll have our double eviction, they said, in a 1-hour show. So a 1-hour double eviction, which does mean that we will finally get to see a full head of household competition on the feeds, not on the feeds, on the show, because that'll happen in the middle of the show. They will have to show us, unless, as someone joked, they do the head of household during the commercial, which they won't, but it was funny. So head of household competition next Thursday. Double eviction next Thursday. So there's that. There we go. That's what I got for you guys, I think, this morning. There's plenty. I'll try to do I hope to do a podcast this afternoon at some point and let you know what's going on. I may not have a bunch of new info, but maybe a little bit. We'll see. So that's what I got. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for your patience as I navigate getting stuff done. And I'll give you the doggy update too. Some of you could care less about the dog stuff, and I don't blame you. I usually don't do this stuff, but it's kind of like, some of you do know who my dog is. And so, yes, we'll let you know. I'm hoping it's just something minor, but she is a 12-year-old, so we'll see. Enough of that. I don't want to bring the podcast down. We'll talk to you guys all later today. All right? Thanks again for all of your support, especially to my patrons. I owe you guys shout-outs, and I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I will. I will. We'll do it soon. Take care, everybody. Oh, one last thing. As I said soon, I thought about how much is left in Big Brother, how much time. The house guests seem to think that Big Brother ends on October 18th or October 17th. It ends on the 13th, which is a Sunday. So they're wrong in their calculations. They'll figure it out soon enough. But they were talking about what they were going to do after and what's going to happen, and it's like, yeah, no, your show ends on a Sunday, not on a Thursday. All right, that's enough of that. Goodbye. Take care. Thank you.